retro, or die.
Resident Evil 2 is a survival horror game that released in 1998 for the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 in 1999. The plot of this game takes place 2 months after the events in the zombie-filled mansion in the first Resident Evil game.
The Raccoon City Police Department's Special Star Team immediately began investigation in the affair. The case was apparently closed, thanks to the efforts of STAR's members Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine.
Raccoon City. A common Midwestern city like many others, but for one exception. It's under the watchful eye of the country's most powerful and largest pharmaceutical company, Umbrella. The Umbrella Corporation has been secretly developing bioweapons and bioexperimentation on the outskirts of the city. But after the events in the first Resident Evil game, the T-Virus was released, and Raccoon City quickly became infested with zombies and other biohazard anomalies only seen in nightmares. You are given the choice of 2 playable characters. Leon S. Kennedy, a newly hired cop for the Raccoon City Police Department, and Claire Redfield, a young college student searching for her brother whom she hasn't heard from in weeks. Both who are entering Raccoon City, not knowing the horror and devastation that has occurred.
Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down! We can't stay out here. Head to the police station. It'll be a lot safer.
The game drops you right into the action and gives you little to no time to react to what you just witnessed. Pitting you against a horde of zombies and very little ammo, you are presented with 2 choices: fight or die. Once you navigate your way through the streets of Raccoon City and enter the police station, not everything is what it appears to be. Finding a string of conspiracy and death, linking everything to the mega conglomerate, Umbrella. Discovering the city will be destroyed in a matter of hours, they decide to split up and search for any remaining survivors and escape the city. Upon playing the game, you will come across multiple survivors with unique and mysterious reasons why they are still alive and in the city, and what connection they have to Umbrella.
You knew something about what's been going on, didn't you? What did you tell them?
And who the heck are you?
A young girl, Sherry, who is all alone, claims to be on the run from an unknown creature. A beautiful woman, Ada Wong, who claims to be searching for her boyfriend John, an Umbrella researcher, and William Birkin, the Umbrella scientist who created the G-Virus, the powerful variation of the original T-Virus. Though this is a survival shooter, this game requires a lot of brain work, solving puzzles, and taking note on where you found things. Figuring out scraps of clues you found in notes and journals stashed throughout the game, and depending on what decisions you made, it will affect your final outcome for your characters. Good or bad.
Ada. No.
The mechanics for Resident Evil 2 are very much like its predecessor, fighting monsters, solving puzzles, and a variety of firearms at your disposal, but with very little ammunition supply, gives that player the always on the edge feeling. The health status in the game can be determined through the color scheme on your HUD screen, and the character's postures, such as green means perfect health, purple means you are poisoned, yellow and orange means caution, and your character will hold their side and be slouched in pain. Red means danger, and you're on the verge of death. Your character will limp around pathetically, but it's comical because they look like they're very drunk and trying to navigate their way to the nearest toilet.
Oh god. Bathroom.
The inventory system is perfect and holds true on trying to get the player to feel limited on what they can carry with them, as it should when playing a survival game, and making them always second guess on making the right choice on all things they decide to do. Never really knowing what's behind the next door is what always makes the game truly terrifying and immersive. The save system will also give the player that extra push to feel unsure how to tackle their next problem. The save rooms are always a safe zone, but in order to save your game, the player must use a typewriter. But true to a survival game, in order to use the typewriter, you need ink ribbons. Those you will need to collect as you go, which means if you're short on supply, you may need to backtrack to find some. Because death means starting back at your last save point. Right in the dick. In later installments of the Resident Evil franchise, this was something that was abandoned, and while some were happy to see this change, I personally found it to be a disservice to survival horror games. But let's be honest, Resident Evil hasn't been a traditional survival horror game once Resident Evil 4 launched.
Oh shit. This is awesome. Oh, Leatherface got him. This is pretty cool. It's not Resident Evil at all, but it's freaking cool. So far, there's nothing Resident Evil about this.
The graphics now for the early Resident Evil games may not look like much, but back in 1998, these were some of the best real-time generated movable polygon characters. They were superimposed over pre-rendered backgrounds and viewed from fixed camera angles, which made it look very, very cool. Unlike most modern games today, this game has numerous hours of replayability. The new zapping system at the time gave the two playable characters upon beating the game new scenarios to play. The A scenario and the B scenario confronted players with different puzzles and different storylines in their retrospective scenarios, resulting in a total of 4 different outcomes. For example, actions taken in the first playthrough will affect the second, like the availability of certain items will be altered. Upon completing the game, the player will receive a ranking based on the total time taken to complete a scenario and upon the number of saves and special healing items used. Depending on the player's accomplishments, bonus weapons with unlimited ammo and extra costumes may be unlocked as a reward. Now, if 4 game scenarios are not enough, there are also 3 unlockable minigames. The Force Survivor, which allows players to take control of Umbrella's top Spec Ops mercenary, Hunk. The Tofu Survivor, which is a comedic breakaway from all the horror, allowing you to play as a walking piece of tofu who can talk and never die, only equipped with a knife. And Extreme Battle, which was only on the PS1 version of the game. These features provide goals such as surviving with no items to pick up. Resident Evil 2 has so much to offer its players that cannot be ignored. Its hours of gameplay and high replay value makes it still to this day better than most current gen games out there. The soundtrack plays on every emotion. The story of this game is arguably the best out of all the Resident Evil games that have ever been released.
This is not good. Leon, where are you?
If I were back in 1998 right now, I would rank this game a 10. But since we are in the current times, the game does look dated, and at times shows its flaws, such as when the game frame rates can drop dangerously low when there's a lot going on the screen. I rank it at a 9. Tank controls can be debatable for fans if they enjoy them or not. I find no problem with them personally. This game will leave you fully immersed in its story, and jump scares feel organic rather than forced. Resident Evil 2 is a legend among its horror game brethren, because it holds true to what this type of game genre should accomplish. Leaves you feeling scared, makes you use your brain, and above all, makes you question every choice you're about to make.
Come on, time to leave.
Now? What's wrong? Is something following us?
We have to go. We don't have any time to waste.
Go? Where?
Hey, it's up to us to take out Umbrella.